What's up, everybody? Another day of the ABCs of communication, connection, and speaking. Today's letter is N. N is in Nancy. Hey, Margie. N is in Nancy, and we're talking about names. Names. ABCs of communication. Letter N, and we're talking about names, the power of names. How do you facilitate greater connection? Through the use of names. Names. So I'm going to kick this off, Morgie, since you are here with me. And I have a different name. My name is Shahara. Oh, no, that's Morgan. My bad. I just be reading off names real fast. The Lone Baker has joined us. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. And we're going to be talking about names. And I have a name for a name, okay? My parents did not hold back when it came to naming me. My name is Shahara. Shahara. It's spelled Sherhara. And here's the interesting thing about it. When I say my name, it usually sounds like Shah, like S-H-A, Shahara, but it's Shahara. But I don't always say Shur. I'm like, my name is Shahara. I just say Shahara, right? So, and I say it a couple times because there are still people who don't know my name. And I'm not mad at you, okay? This is what I say. I always say that, whenever I introduce myself, I always say my name sounds like a small country somewhere in the world that we've never heard of, but my parents were ambitious. But I am so very thankful to them for that. I do appreciate them. But it's a challenging name. And so my whole life, it has been, I wouldn't say a challenge, but it has been, I've always had to rise to the occasion. What's up, everybody? And co-helping, co-facilitating the pronunciation of my name. So if people read it, they get intimidated and they start adding letters. I do not have an I in my name, but people sometimes will be like, Sharia? And I'm like, where do you get the I from? Where it come from, right? So I just know that you felt a little overwhelmed. You were a little intimidated by my name. The story goes on and on and on about my name, but because I have had to coach people and support people and teach people how to pronounce my name, correct them. I've had to figure out kind ways to interject after they call me Shahara. And I'm like, I know you know. What's up, Matt? I know you know. But then I got to be like, just so you know, it's pronounced Shahara. And then I always have to let them know it's okay. Because people do. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I absolutely love you. I really like you. I can't believe I said your name wrong. But it happens, especially if it's been some weeks since we've seen each other, maybe some months since you've actually had to say it out loud. Look, we're grown people with grown responsibilities. But because of my experience and my close relationship with helping people to pronounce my name, I make a really, concerted effort to pronounce other people's names. What's up, everybody? So this is a conversation, ABCs of communication, connection, and speaking. The letter is N as in Nancy, but the word is N as in names. And so I have been committed, perhaps for my whole life, in honoring people's names. They say treat people the way that you want to be treated. And I want to be treated in a way where people try to pronounce my name. And I'm not saying that people don't actually try. People really do try to pronounce my name. They try to get it right. They ask me, now, how do I pronounce that? Can you remind me? People have not been disrespectful, but people do get intimidated. People do get overwhelmed, right? But because I want people to honor my name and say my name and learn how to say it right, I try to do the same for other people, right? So, if you want people to pronounce your name correctly, and this is a conversation twofold. Ooh, this is about to get deep. Okay, what time is it? Let me get on track. Twofold. I treat people the way that I want to be treated. And in the space of names, I make sure that I am intentional and thoughtful and caring and honorable when I try to pronounce people's names and remember people's names. Our names is something that we came into this world with, and we own it, right? So if I want people to give their best effort in pronouncing my name, remembering my name, then I'm going to give my best effort to remembering your name and pronouncing your name. Now, the second thing that comes out of this is there's two things. One, I'm going to start with why it's powerful to use people's names in facilitating connection. So we've got JG in the house, H Moore in the house. She is Erica Forbes in the house. I even do my best to try to call out names. Even if I don't think I'm pronouncing it right, I will be like, did I pronounce that right? And I'm going to try to figure this out via text message while we're on this live. But it is so powerful pronouncing people's names because it is our primary identifier. If we're in a room and everybody's talking and then I say, Kim, I'd love to hear your thoughts, right? It does something to Kim. Kim is like, oh my goodness, she called on me. She sees me. And I just talked about how we all want to be seen and we all want to be heard. And there is something so beautiful about when people call our name. Beyonce, Destiny's Child, say my name, say my name. If no one is around you, say, baby, I love you, right? But say my name, say my name. So it's powerful in connecting with people. It's powerful in getting people's attention. We live in these virtual boxes. So when we're on Zoom calls and we think people are, multitasking and zoning out, a way to engage is to call out people's name. And since we are in these virtual boxes, everybody got their name on there anyway. So all you got to do is read the little name on the box. You can always call out somebody's name. So I have taken great advantage of really focusing on engagement through using people's name. It is a natural reflex. When you call someone's name, even when somebody thinks that you've called their name, they will respond. They will perk up. They will refocus their attention. They will lean in more. When we were in school and we weren't paying attention, our teacher would call out our name. When we got in trouble, sometimes our parents will call us by our full name. So there's a lot of power in how you connect with people. And when you put forth the effort to use someone's name in conversation, you know what, Jennifer, you're right. You're right. It gives so much more value, so much more weight, so much more substance. It just really looks like you're really paying attention, like you're really engaged. And when people want to be seen and they want to be heard, calling out someone's name is the easiest way to do it. What up, Tiana? Rokita in the house. And I even asked Rokita in here, I said, is it Roquita or Rokita? And she spelled it out phonetically for me. And now I know. So I'd be like, Rokita in the house, Tiana in the house. So when we talk about the ABCs of communication, connection, and speaking, this one I'm really honing in on how do you connect with people? Push Through Fitness says, I have to implement this in my day to day. Push Through, you look like you might be a trainer. Okay, so you probably got to tell people, you're going to have to be like, Shahara, get your ass up, push harder, right? And then I'll be like, okay, right? So anyways, when you call my name, that will then, urge me to show up even more. So when you use someone's name in conversation, when you use it to engage, when you use it to just honor their presence, honor their humanity, it is a powerful way to connect with people. When you go out to networking events, sometimes, yes, it's hard to remember 17 names of just 17 people that you just met. But in that immediate conversation, if you're able to get a name, George, use it fast. George, it's nice to meet you. So George, tell me about what you do. So George, you said you got here how? Implement that name real fast. And that's like the best way for you to really start to try to memorize these names. Even though I said yesterday, don't memorize nothing, but This is about internalizing it. And by internalizing it, putting it into action immediately, right? So now I'm just giving y'all some tidbits on how to use it, especially in networking spaces, right? So you're showing up in rooms of people that you don't know. Do your best to try to remember some names, say some names. If they tell you their name, repeat it back to them. And when you engage with them or ask them a question, instead of just asking them a question, then say, Tiana, now you said, and I'm curious, right? Rokita, you said, and I know, yeah. So Allie's in the house. What's up? So I offer names because it's the letter N, but it's a really, really easy way to connect with people. People want to be seen. Hey, Jeremy, I see you. I see you. You see me. I see you. Now they're seen. Now they're heard. Just by calling out their name. It's a way to increase engagement, especially when we find ourselves on Zoom meetings all day. You want to make sure people are like present and with you and listening. Call out some names. Even if you know they're not paying attention, just call out their name. Their ears are going to perk up. They might pay attention for an additional 25 seconds. But that's how you're able to facilitate connection with people. Now, I mentioned that's how you use it just on an everyday, right? You use calling out people's name. I think y'all get it. Just use people's names. They're attached to us. It hits somewhere here. It hits somewhere here. It hits somewhere in the spirit. So challenge yourself for the next week to just focus on people's names. And you can make it so obvious and just tell them, I'm not really good at remembering names, but today, I'm going to call you by your name. I'm going to say your name, say your name, say your name, right? Morgan says, I needed this. I have a networking event tomorrow and I'm definitely implementing this in practice. Yes. So ask them the name and then immediately say it. And then when you ask them an additional question, say their name and then ask the question, right? And don't be afraid that if later, an hour into the networking event, you done forgot George's name. I'm sorry, George. I just remembered his name. I'm sorry. Remind me of your name again. Oh, I'm going to give y'all a really good tip. I don't shy away from anymore if I'm out and about and I don't remember your name. I would rather let you know that I don't remember, but tell me again, because it is important for me to remember and I'm going to keep working on it. I would rather someone continue to forget my name than and tell me and ask me to remind them of my name than for them to pretend like they don't know my name and then still see me out and never call me by my name. Like, this is my 8th time seeing you and you never call me by my name. So that tells me that you just don't want to be bothered with at least trying to remember it. That's a bad thing. So even if you've seen somebody else 5 or 6 times, just say, don't be mad at me, but remind me of your name because I do want to, at least in this moment, be able to use your name. Or I know your name, but pronounce it for me again because I don't want to butcher it. And I'm still learning on how to say it, right? So just be honest, just be transparent. The intention and really the genuineness that comes with just asking someone their name and just letting them know I'm trying to learn. I'm not the best with names, but I will always ask if I don't remember. So those are just different ways to engage, to connect by using people's names. The Lone Baker says, and people appreciate transparency and that builds genuine connection too. Yes, girl. I wish I could give you some confetti. Can I like that post? Yes. Anyways. So here's the other part of it. This is where I want to get a little deep. And this goes out to people who, are from other countries. This goes out to people who don't have names like Jane, John, Sarah, Mike, Kimberly. This is going out to all the people who have non-Anglo-Saxon standard type English names. This is going out to all the Shaharas out there. This is going out to all of the, I don't know. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And I'll just make it real plain. Sometimes us black people, hey Kevin, sometimes us black people, we be having names, y'all. We be having names. And they're not always just off jump easy to pronounce or know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. I've never seen it before, or I've never seen it spelled this way before. And sometimes I don't know when to use my long A versus my short A if it comes after a vowel or a consonant. That's technical type reading. Most of the time when we read, we are reading from memory, right? So we have names that are different. And it doesn't mean that they're bad names. It just means that you ain't never seen a Shahara before. So why would I even expect you to get it right on the first time? Some people do, some people don't, right? But like I told you, I said sometimes I do be feeling some type of way when you be like, Sharia? And I'm like, you didn't even try because there's no I in my name. Anyways, this goes out to even my people who are from different countries, and you're here in the U.S., and it can be very challenging to feel confident and comfortable, hey, Jaren, maintaining or kind of like opposing this subtle pressure that you have to change your name. When I was in the acting world and I would get my headshots done, there were so many things that they wanted to Americanize, even though I'm American. They wanted to whitenize on me. Is one, my name, and they said, can we put something shorter? Maybe there's a different name that we can have for you. Not Shahara, Sarah, Samantha, Susie, like something, but even maybe something unique, like Star, I might be able to do a Star. Anyways, another thing that they wanted me to do is straighten my hair. That wasn't happening. It did for a while though, but we are challenged and going into spaces that aren't culturally diverse. And so sometimes for the comfort of others, especially just walking into all white rooms, I ain't even gonna lie, we have to come up with names that make it easier for them to pronounce. Even when we think about, Spanish speakers, you got a Spanish name. I got a real ass example too. But his name is something else, but he changed his name to Marty. And I don't know what his Spanish name was, but it was easy enough to pronounce. But he changed his name to Marty so that it's easier for everybody else. Now, if that's a battle that you want to just go ahead and not fight, then fine. But there is so much of our identity, so much of our culture, so much of our experience that goes into our names. And when we start to filter our names just to make other people comfortable, we're sacrificing our own comfort with our own name. That's messed up. So, and it's our first response. It's our first course of action is I'm going to alter my name, maybe give a nickname, shorten my name, or let other people name me just so it's easier for them. And then we wonder why we're not showing up authentically. We wonder why we might be exhausted. We wonder why we're not being seen. We wonder why we feel like we're having to put up more and more filters, and that has a very subtle yet consistent erosion on our spirit and on our authenticity. And it shows up in our name. And it can be very liberating. I have a client and she went by, let's say she went by Victoria, right? Her name is Victoria. And I swear, I thought the whole time her name was Victoria. Then she switched jobs and she had a totally different name. She's Nigerian. And then I started seeing that she was addressing her emails with her Nigerian name. And I said, I'm noticing something here, friend. Have you dropped the Victoria? Do I need to be calling you by your given name? And she said, yes, I'm embracing that. I'm stepping into that. And I said, well, girlfriend, I am with you. Let me work on it. Let's get it together. I haven't been on a call with her yet, so I haven't been able to hear her pronounce it for me. But now in all of my emails, I address her by her, her name, her given name. And she said that it's something about embracing a part of her identity. And she said that she feels, oddly enough, she feels so much more empowered. And owning who you are, owning your identity, starting with your name is a practice. And it's a muscle that has to grow. And if you have been filtering, simplifying, denying, change your name or whatever for so long, it can feel like a breath of fresh air to finally step into the space of owning your name and helping other people honor your name, right? And I ain't like, look, I'm giving you this, but I understand the circumstances of society that cause us to amend aspects of our identity, aspects of who we are, just so that we can operate. And if that is your course of action, then look, more power to you. But if you've ever thought, if you've ever reconsidered, if this video is speaking to you about your name and how you're owning it or not, then this might be a time to explore. This might be a time to say, I'm going to step into my name. Or I have another friend that totally changed her name. She was like, it's not me. It is not me. She legally changed her name. She was like, I don't resonate. It doesn't align with me. It doesn't sit with my spirit. And she had another name. She legally changed her name. Not many people know what her other name was. But she is owning her identity first and then saying, but this is the name that reflects me. So just don't feel the pressure to have to change your name, get a nickname, shorten your name to make it easier for somebody else. What I'm telling you to do is to first own your identity and then reflect upon whether or not your name is a part of your identity. And if it's a part of your identity, then don't compromise on it. Don't compromise on an extension of your identity for the comfort of someone else. That's what I'm saying. What up, Steve? The new breed. So those are the two things that I wanted to mention about names and the ABCs of communication, connection, and speaking. The first part, using people's name to connect. Facilitate that connection. Use people's name so that they can be seen, so that they can be heard. Use people's name to honor them, to recognize their humanity, to honor their identity, to differentiate them from a crowd, to increase your engagement, right? Use names to connect with people. The second thing is use your name to connect with yourself. And if you're in a space where you feel like you have been compromising on your name by shortening it, not using it, using another name, don't compromise for the comfort of others that you find yourself uncomfortable using your own name. It's a lot of power in our names. You still have all of the authority as to how you move forward, but use your own discernment and search within yourself. Are you further disconnected from yourself because you show up with a name that isn't yours? Are you challenged to feel more authentic because you show up with a name that's easier for them? Do you have to inconvenience yourself to convenient others? That's all I'm saying. Is that there's a power in name. And if we want to show up more authentically, we talk about executive presence, we talk about charm, and we talk about charisma, we talk about confidence, all of these very woo-woo things, like these intangible things. A lot of times it stems from these smaller things, the ways that we continue to filter ourselves, the ways in which we don't take ownership. You want to command a room, you got to command yourself. Do you feel like you command? Are you in command over who you are, over your identity, over your authenticity, over your culture, over the way that you show up? Are you in command of that? Or are you compromising, aspects of your identity for the comfort of others? And then you wonder why you step into a room and you can't command nothing. Well, I'll be damned, y'all. Am I preaching to myself? Because I'm feeling what I'm preaching right now. But because I've been there, because I've done it. Not with my name, with my hair for sure. But I do it with my name, y'all. And there is one occasion, there are two occasions that I compromise on my name. Two. When I go to Starbucks and they ask me for a name, I say Kim. Because ain't nobody got time telling them Shahara. And then they going to ask me, well, how do you spell it? I got 8 letters in my name, and I got 2 minutes to get this coffee. So go ahead and put Kim on there, because ain't nobody got time right now. What's important is my coffee. Second place that I do this at, Chick-fil-A. Ma'am, can I get a name for your order? Kim. Ain't nobody saying Shahara, and I'm trying to get my Cobb salad with my waffle fries and my lemonade, please. So I give them Kim. Now that's a convenience I'm willing to sacrifice for. I'm just saying, y'all. Anyways, I went out one time and we went to go pick up some coffee, and I'm with some of my friends who did not know I did this. And then they yell out, Kim, Kim. And then I walk up, I grab my coffee. They walk back and they're like, what? I said, look, ain't nobody got time to be spelling out Shahara when I'm just trying to get my coffee. So that is the word for today. I feel like I can talk about this forever, but I am not. But honor your name, own your name. Just own it. If that's in your spirit, own it, and honor other people's names. Own your own name, honor other people's names. Period. Okay. I'm all done with that right now. And I'm going to also leave you all with this note. I talked about charm, charisma, the je ne sais quoi, the X factor. How are we connecting with people? How are we speaking authenticity? How are we speaking authentically? How are we connecting with others? How are we using the way that we communicate, the way that we speak to facilitate connection? How are we advancing our own, goals, dreams, ambitions through the way that we communicate? I say all of that because I got a company. It's called Speak House. And at Speak House, we offer communication coaching. And we typically work on the business to business side. But in this case, we do have some one-on-one clients. Now we are getting ready to open up a cohort. We're getting ready to open up a cohort, but it's also a membership. It is a place where we are creating community, and we're working with, thought leaders. We're working with business leaders, and we're working with people who are using the way that they communicate and the way that they speak to elevate themselves in business. They're looking to grow their public profile, to attract more opportunities, bring in new clients, close new clients, get promotions, navigate more strongly in the space of leadership. And that cohort is called Privilege. Some of you have heard of it. We're bringing it back, and we're going to be launching that soon. But before we do launch that, we are going to be opening up a open house, HAUS, an open house. And that's going to give you all an experience of what our group coaching is like. How do we go deep? How are we creating support and providing tactics and strategies? Where are you getting the place to practice? How are you able to observe so that you can then extract and then implement for yourself? Like all of these things we do in the program, and we work a lot with crafting your stories. We work a lot with being able to facilitate connection. People want to be the most memorable person in the room. People want to leave lasting impressions. People want to grow their influence. People want to establish their credibility. And overall, oh my God, the biggest word, people want to feel confident. People want to walk away from whatever speaking engagement and be like, yes, I did that. I nailed that. Morgan, you're interested. Okay. So send me a DM with open house, open HAUS. And if you are interested in learning more about Privilege, our upcoming cohort membership, and then also joining in with our open house that's going to be coming up in the next couple weeks, then send me a DM, put open house in there, and then I'll share the information with you, and then we can have a conversation and talk more details. What up, Alex? Hey. But it's really, we're really moving into the space that we've got a lot of negative self-talk. We've got a lot of self-judgment. We've got a lot of self-doubt. We understand, we know, and we're confident with our own experience and our expertise. But sometimes when we verbalize it, when we communicate it, it seems to just kind of like undermine our credibility, which then limits our ability to truly influence our audiences, our listeners, our stakeholders, our employees, our team members, all of those things. So we are going to be opening up privilege, and privilege is really all about leveling the playing field of privilege so that we can all get a piece of that privilege pie and whatever that part of privilege it is that you're seeking. So I'm really excited to reintroduce this underneath the new company of Speak House. We've got an amazing team to support you. We've already built a great community, and I'm really excited to support. So if it's something that you want to get in on, you want to get a little bit of the scoopy whoopy, then send me a DM and put put Open House, Haus, because Speak, House, was gone when we started the company, and they wanted $10,000 for it, but we didn't have it then. But I really like the Haus. It's kind of fancy. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Thank you all for joining me on yet another day of the ABCs of communication, connection, and speaking. Today's word was names. So if you're just catching in, go back, watch the repeat, learn a little bit more about what we have coming up with our cohorted membership and our open house that's coming up in the next couple weeks. If you want to know more, DM me Open House. Otherwise, I will see y'all tomorrow. Peace out.